security in every call out. Now you can see, you can search in the App Exchange under the integration category, or you can search 200 OK. Then you can see this one, the product is a native and no coding integration automation. You can see a demo and a lot of screenshot what it does, action, everything. Now if you look at that, you can connect, it's 100% Salesforce native and can directly connect. But more interesting is that the review, the customers has given a 5-star review, and then it says that, you know, kind of a almost unlimited integration. I wish 200 OK had developed this sooner. And then, you know, finally their customers' wait is done with 200 OK because no code integration from Salesforce. A game changer for API integration for Salesforce. And now all customers are getting, the CEOs and the technology people are talking about. It is being popular day by day, the day we have released. But let's see that why it is get popular. Now if I talk about a Salesforce and any integration, I think about a Postman first to test the data and, you know, kind of to make that API testing, and this one. That's where the more popular is. Now I'm taking for this particular, then we are taking a API, weather.com API, and then I can click on send here, and you see that I'm looking for what is the current weather in the Mumbai, and I see that currently Mumbai is from Maharashtra and India, and it is coming up the you know, kind of 30 degrees centigrade and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the same API that I wanted to try to take into 200 OK, now I wanted to show that how the 200 OK looks like. Once you install this particular application using the Get It Now, you will install this and you see find a 200 OK app. Under that 200 OK Studio, in the 200 OK Studio, pretty much you can see the things that you can see right over here that you can create. If I click on the new, pretty much you can create a 200, you know, the integration channel. Integration channel means connecting Salesforce to any point for outbound integration. But even you can create a webhook which can inbound that other services can call securely over the webhook, and then also the ETL also can used for to you know, to transform your complex data structure. Instead of writing the code, you can also complex the data structure with certain ready-made transformation. So I can go ahead and click a integration channel. That's one choice for me. Even I can go ahead and try to import from the Postman. If you look at from here, I can go and going to import from the Postman here, and for that one what I will do, this Postman, if it is working, you know that Postman collections are available, and in one of the collection you can have one service or multiple services. So now if something is working in Postman, how to rewrite, how to reorchestrate, and why to do that again? And that is where we have given this import Postman facility. You can download either V2 or V2.1. You can export the file, and pretty much I am going to save this file. Let's say I'm going to save this file over here, and now I'm going back and trying to open this file. Okay, so now you can see that I'm going to import from the Postman. So what I will do, I'll go to my Finder. I got my weather API collection which just now I have imported from this one, and as soon as it comes, I click on submit, and you can see the entire things has been loaded. And the way you see here in the Postman, you see there is a parameter over here called key and queue, the parameter, and then parameters that you can pass the body, the authentication, the way that settings, all the methods and URL. Pretty much you can see also similar sort of interface that you can do that. So it hardly took time for me to export something, and then what I need to do, I don't need to do anything, just to make it active and click on send. You exactly get the same response right over here. And if I wanted to search with, there is a different way that you can search. If I'm going to search for the temperature, what is the temperature, I can see this is 30 degrees centigrade in the Mumbai that you are talking, right? It's that so easy. But if I'm going to try to change the value, so now I can change the value and click on send. I can see that, okay, the Chennai's temperature is going to be like, you know, like the temperature C, and you can see the 26 degrees centigrade here. But now this is not enough. Let's talk about something called data mapping, because these are the static and what we are used to do it in you know, kind of a Postman. But Salesforce is all about the data mapping. And if I'm going to talk about data mapping, 200 OK comes with a number of patterns of the data mapping. Now think about that. This is my data, and I wanted to test with send with the data. So let's say I wanted to put something called New York, and I'm trying to click on send here. Now pretty much I wanted to see, okay, now this has been New York with the United States, and then I got a temperature and Fahrenheit as of right now, this one. Now the other part is, now if you have a record, imagine that I wanted to use some sort of field value here. So what I'm going to do, I wanted to connect to a account field. So as an admin, it's pretty easy. You look for a S object and then search for an account object here, then search for a field called, let's say, billing city. If I'm going to use a billing city, I'm going to insert here. You can see these are the merge field. Now what do you need to do? Okay, I wanted to test with that one. So how I'm going to test this? So you can see there is a record that I've created called Reliance, and then billing city has been set as a Mumbai, right? And now if I'm going to make it send with the data, I don't need to hard code it. Rather I can search with, let's say, account, and then I can search for a record called Reliance here. You can get that option for any object that you can do, and if I click on send, you can see here that it is a Mumbai, and you can get that what is the current temperature of Mumbai, right? And the same way, you no need to save this key. This key can be from custom settings. You can do that, and if you look at here, what I'm trying to do it here, this I'm set it up in custom settings on the app settings with API token. And the same way, even I am going to try to pass this also city, it automatically going to do the same thing. But what is more important here? Now if you look at here, the calls that we are making it here, you can see that there is a log between that. As soon as you make a call, you can see these all logs here, and where you can see the status code, whether it's a 200 OK or not, and that is where the name 200 OK comes in the picture, because every time you make a call, that's where you see a status code here, and the success status code, that's what 200 OK. And it took how much time to get this one, and every call is happening behind the server side, it's not anything client side, and pretty much you can see what is the response you got, what is the response body, what is the request, and all the logs that you see, the user time zone, what time, how much time it took for generating this one, and the number of limits, the way you typically see in the debug console when you are debugging. So this is a separate one that been given to admin or a developer to monitor that and see the performance also. One more part I wanted to tell you here, that if you look at this name credential here, it does support the name credential as well. As you know, Salesforce is most familiar with this name credentials. You can create this name credential, and also you can create an auth provider with OAuth and all that one. You can see that we are connecting with certain, and you can providing this password over here, and then you can use this name credential directly that to to have this, and automatically you can make the call out for do this one. But let's go ahead to our old example of this one, and I am trying to save it. Now what will happen that, okay, I got this data, so what next? Your next part is something like you need to receiving some response from a third party, but you wanted to do certain action to that one, and that is where this action module comes in the picture. And now for this example, what I'm trying to do is that I'm sending the data of the Reliance or account record, but in this record you must see that I do have in the billing address only the city, but not the country is empty here. So what I'm going to over here, I am going to update this particular record of whatever the data that I'm getting here in the country. Here you see this country is India, that's what I'm going to keep it. So what I'm going to do, click on the action. In the action panel, you can see that I can make any DML statement in a subject. I can insert and update, which I'm going to show you. Even you can call a Apex class, even you can call a file also, where if you are dealing with the file, you can call a kind of files attachment, and if I need to show the interface, you can attachment and content version is been supported here in the file. And where you are, let's say DocuSign, you sent us some file and you have to download some document. You download some document from Google Drive and something which is giving a blob data, or either is content version, a file is there, you want to send it to somebody, that also you can use that. It can call a platform event, same integration channel, we can call another call out API which with the chaining. Then a custom setting and custom metadata also you can create. External object and big object is also supported by this one. And most important part, the auto launch to flow is also supported, that if I wanted to call any auto launch to flow as soon as the response received, I can also manage with this one. And now for the making a simple, I wanted to call a subject. Let's say I wanted to update this record. As you know, for update a record, if I can see pre-selected field, very easy for admin. Now I'm going to apply, this is something called, let's say, a record ID. Based on this record ID, it automatically going to figure out whether I need to do a upsert call or going to be insert call. And then I'm going to add another field where I'm going to save the country. Now if I'm going to put a billing country, and in billing country, how do I know that what is the mapping I need to do? That is what this data mapper is going to be pretty handy. In this data mapper, you need to search for this integration channel. The response going to layout, you can see the response layout over here. We are going to talk about now. This is something called country over here. You can see that country field we talk under the location. So you no need to remember anything. You can click on here. You can see this as a location. Under location, you see country field. Now you insert the path here. So this is the we call the JSON path or J path. And then when I click on insert, you see this path. Now one more thing I wanted to tell you here, if this path, if you're, let's say this returns India, but you want that first 2 digit of India, so you will get a bunch of functions the way that you see in the Salesforce, like lookup function, advanced function, text, and all this function. You can utilize these functions to also to format the data while you are saving that one. So with this one, I'm going to click on insert right over here, and I'm going to click on save. So what I am expecting here at the end of this particular call, in this integration, if I'm going to make a send with the data again, I'll search with the same Reliance object over here. Going to search Reliance data, and when I'm going to put on click, I got the response here. If I go back to the log, let me try to figure out if the log is just showing here. Yes, log is clearly showing that the execution happened. Now the action executes begins. Now it is mapping the data with record ID and billing country with this path. Now it got that India and as well this particular record ID and a subject number, this has been done. So now let's go back and try to see the record over here. And if I'm going to refresh it here, and probably I do see the billing country. So this is just a sample example over here, but the possibilities are endless. You can think about a process builder, what we used to do with by mapping and keeping the data into that one, but right now you can do that everything right over here. So this is kind of a very sneak peek or the high level preview of how 200 OK, how I have done with close like kind of a within like 2 minutes a well executed tested API from Postman and making it and doing that one. But the next question comes, okay, how I'm going to real time use? This is all about testing it today, right? So the using that one, we created a invocable method. So pretty much if you look at this particular flow, think about that, we call a create payment link. Whenever you go to the flow, you will get a like execute integration channel flow action, and if you call this action, you need to give that integration channel name, and this integration channel name is nothing but this particular unique name of the channel name. So if I give this particular name over this particular flow, and then you can pass, if you are passing the record ID, you can pass the record ID, that's it. So if I am going to do that one, as you know, this flow can be created a multiple flow. You can also watch the data, get the response, and then make another call. Then you can branch it out. You can do anything and everything. Flow is something like which can help us to automate the entire workflow process of any integration kind of requirement. So yes, these are the things. And now if I talk about little bit of a header, we can also pass certain header like the authorization, then the content type, and then certain header, and then you can utilize also the mapping functionality to pass certain value for the custom settings, metadata type also in the mapper also you can get it. Now if it is a custom header, we don't know, then probably you can write a class which can return a map. We have to interface, you can inherit some interface coming 200 OK package. Same way in the body also, you can pass the form data or URL encoded data. Again the raw data. In the raw data, you can even pass the JSON data also. Something like if I'm going to put this JSON data, and now you can put the JSON data. And in this JSON data, if I have to talk about, let's say this JSON data you can pass. In this Mumbai, you can also pass this dynamic data, which you need to pass it. Or you can pass something like this billing city, right? And then typically it comes under a post call when you are putting the data that you need to pass it. So system will automatically understand that part. And if at all the complex data that you have, and it is not a JSON XML text it support, but if you do not have that sort of data and you want to generate this JSON serialization by working in a class, you can choose your class. Automatically a class comes if you are extending the interface. So this can also going to give it you the class facility, because in dynamically runtime the class body can be attached to the payload and while making the call. And it manages these versions also. As you can see that multiple versions, each time you click and it do the versions. And also there are certain utility like you can add a remote site setting if you want. You don't need to go to the setup, click on that, click a remote site setting and everything. You can right click on remote site setting. Do you want to add? Click OK and you are done. So remote site setting is successfully created for that one, right? So these are the certain utility also you will get in the 200 OK, and that's what it makes so easy and complex and more popular across the things. And 200 OK you can execute by API call. Even you can call a webhook also. You can see in the other video that how we use the webhook functionality and to do this one. Thank you very much.